This ACL 101 video takes you through planning your essay. So, what steps have you taken so far in writing your ACL essay? Well, firstly, we have analysed and understood the question, which is what we did in videos 1 and 2 of this series. Once you have analysed the question and you totally understand what is being asked of you in this question, you might move on to step 2, which is reading widely around the issue. This is really important because this reading is going to form the basis of the position that you're going to take. So you need to research the topic by finding books, websites, and journal articles on this exact topic. It is important also to look at the credibility of the resources that you use. Books and journal articles are published or peer-reviewed, meaning that they are vetted by other professionals in the field, while websites are not. So it is important, especially when using a website, to ensure that it is credible and can be backed up and substantiated by research. Once you have read widely around the issue and you've consulted a number of different sources, you might be ready to form your position. So the third step is to form a position on the issue and write a position statement. We covered this in video 2, but just briefly, a position is an informed opinion. It is something that you can back up with reasons. And if you remember, we said an opinion might be that you prefer Woolworths to Pick n Pay for food. If you want that to be a position, you would have to research and you would have to find out what research has been conducted about the differences between Woolworths and Pick n Pay. And once you found out that maybe someone did some research to find out that Woolworths is cleaner, that their food is organic, etc., you would be able to form that into a position statement. Until you can back it up with credible research, it is not a position. It is only an opinion. So once you've formed your position on the issue and you've written your position statement, you are ready for step 4, which is planning your essay, which is what we're going to talk about in this video. I strongly advocate that you use a mind map to plan your essay. If you follow the way we do the mind map in this video, it's going to show you how to form your paragraphs and your introduction as well. So I strongly suggest you use this format. You would write your position statements in the bubble in the middle, and each of your reasons for taking this position on the issue at the little arrows that I've indicated there. For an essay of this length, I would suggest that you have 4 to 5 reasons why you have taken your position. Now, this is a good time to think again of the analogy of you as a lawyer. And remember, this came out of your reading, your Irvine reading in the ACL course reader, and we also discussed it in the video on forming a position statement. You need to prove to your reader that your position is correct. How will you do this? By persuading them with good, validated, backed up reasons. Now think about the lawyer. If your position is that your client is innocent, you cannot just say my client is innocent and sit down. You have to give the judge good reasons. Now your reason might be, well, my client has an alibi for that particular night. And then you would unpack and explain exactly what the alibi is. Your second reason might be, my client had no motive. And then you will explain exactly what you mean by that. Your third reason might be, my client has no history of anything like this before, and you will unpack and explain again. So like a lawyer has to persuade the judge of the position that his or her client is innocent, you need to persuade your reader that your position is the correct position. And this is when you're going to do it with your reasons. Now, each of these reasons is going to form a separate paragraph in your essay. So if you have 4 reasons in your mind map, I would expect to see 4 paragraphs in your essay, plus an introduction and a conclusion. But more about that a little bit later. This is an ACL essay question from 2016, and I've put onto your ECI page an example essay that was written by a student in 2016 responding to this question. We're going to use this essay as an example through the next few videos, so it is worth downloading it and reading it. The question was, Mandela argued that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world. And this was cited in the Nelson Mandela Foundation 2015. Mandela also believed that education was the most effective method in combating poverty, as it intellectually empowers impoverished individuals. Accordingly, education should be free in a developing nation like South Africa. Critically respond to the above quote and statement. Support your position with reliable research. So if we look briefly at this question, the students were asked to discuss how they felt or what their position was in relation to free education. And they, of course, had to look back at the Nelson Mandela quote as well, linking it to the fact that education creates power and that it creates money, opportunities, and so on. So this example essay that is on the ECI page responded to this question. This is what a mind map for this example essay might look like. The student wrote the essay in 2016, and I have created what I think her mind map might have looked like. So in the bubble in the center is her position. And her position is education is essential. So she agrees with Nelson Mandela, education is essential. But, so by this word but, we know that we're going to have a change in direction. But free education will have a negative impact on the country's strained finances. So in a nutshell, that is her position. While she acknowledges the importance of education, she does not feel that free education is possible in South Africa. Now, for this to become a position, she also has to have her reasons. And let's see the reasons that she is going to lay out. And each of them is at an arrow. The first one here, necessity of education. So here she's going to tell us why education is necessary. And this is going to back up or validate the first part of her position, which says education is essential. So we can expect to see a paragraph on the necessity of education. If we go down to the bottom right, her next point is that there is current support for disadvantaged students in the form of NSFAS funding. So we can expect her second paragraph is going to talk about this and is going to back up her position that education is essential and that there is already some support for disadvantaged students. Her third thing she's going to talk about is the effect of free education on both poor and rich citizens. Fourthly, and that's at the top left-hand side, the impact of free education on student-teacher ratio and quality. So here we have a very well thought through position statement, and we have the reasons clearly laid out that she is going to argue to persuade us, the reader, that her position is correct. What I would urge you to do now is to look back at your position statement and to create a mind map similar to this. You need to explain to your reader exactly what your reasons are for taking your position. You need to persuade me, your reader, that your position is correct. Think of me like the judge, and you are the lawyer. You need to persuade me that whatever position you have taken, that position is correct. And let me just state once again that there are no right or wrong answers to the two questions we've given you. You are getting marks for the quality of the argument that you produce. So your position can be anything. The marks you're getting are for the reasons that you're giving and for persuading me that your position is correct.